What's up, YouTube? This is Hector from Not Too Nerdy. And before I get into the topic, what I'm going to discuss today, you're going to be watching me play Call of Duty in the background. Now, I haven't played Call of Duty in a little over 3 months. Well, a little over 3 months on Xbox 360. It's been over a month at all playing. So, yeah, I'm horrible. So, you're going to see me do horrible in the background, just to let you know. But the topic I want to talk about today is pretty much Tom McShay and GameSpot. Now, he gave a review score for DuckTales Remastered and gave it a 4.5. Now, usually I don't really criticize people at all for giving, poor scores for a review, because it's all opinionated. That's his opinion. I feel like everyone has the right to their own opinion. But the fact of what he said, the reason why he gave it the low scores is pretty much all the stuff that he said was a bad thing was true to its form from the original game. So he said like they had a punishment system that he didn't like. The fact that if you died, you had to start from the beginning. There's parts where he said it was just too hard, and there was certain other things that he said, but the main point was he pretty much insinuated like he was expecting a different game from the original. Like he did not like the fact that it was too much like the original. And it's kind of weird because the whole game is called Remastered for a reason. So it's kind of funny because on Twitter, I was looking off a GameSpot. It said GameSpot's Twitter account said DuckTales Remastered may leave you wondering why people were nostalgic for it in the first place. The full review. So that's the headline GameSpot had. And another viewer commented and said, "What a shame. I hope this doesn't cause other great games not to get some HD updates." And then Tom McShay responds to this person and says, "I'm crossing my fingers for Castle of Illusion. I love that game." So, I was a little upset. So, of course, I'm going to comment on Tom McShay's Twitter, and I tweet him. And I said, "Looking forward to bash that game too." So, I was trying to poke fun of the fact that he pretty much bashed another game for being a nostalgic game. And it's not just, there's more evidence towards a bad score. Because after he posted that bad score, he also posted about an article talking about how nostalgia is killing the game industry. Okay, it's talk about all these nostalgic games and how companies are just rushing out to release nostalgic games to get people to buy it without actually putting good things into the game. And that's what his article was discussing. That was his purpose of the article. So it seemed like he had an extra motive to use DuckTales because he actually put DuckTales Remastered in his article. That was like the headline of the article. Like he had an extra incentive to do this. In the article he talks about how he's not a fan of nostalgic games. So it just seemed biased from the beginning. But I digress. Let's talk about the Twitter. Now, after I tweeted that, I didn't really expect him to respond or anything, but he did respond. So the next thing he says is he responds to me and says, "Nope, I'm crossing my fingers that it's excellent." And then after he said that, I poked fun of what his article said, because the headline of his article said how the nostalgia games are smothering, the gaming industry. So I said, "But you feel smothered by hashtag nostalgia. It's killing the industry. Hashtag sarcasm, bias, hashtag reviewers are killing the industry." So, I pretty much said, all right, it's not really just nostalgia, it's pretty much reviewers, and I'm trying to poke fun of the fact that he, by him giving a low score is actually affecting the gaming industry. And then I explained, I said, for the next tweet, I said, "Developers work hard for a hashtag game just for a reviewer to not like it just because they are against nostalgia. It's not about your poor scores. It's a poor explanation you gave. No, it's a poor explanation. You have the right to your opinion." So I pretty much told him, it's not really about the score. You have the right to your score, but it's the explanation that you gave for the score that made no sense. It just completely made you look biased. And that's what I was trying to say. His response was, "Sorry if you didn't think my analysis was satisfactory." He says, "What would you have liked to see more explanation of?" Then I told him, the game is called Remastered, meaning not a new game. Your dislikes was based off of the original qualities. Then I said, they added things but kept the original, like boss battles and punishment for losing, just like the old game. Now, that's some of the topics that he said that the reason why he didn't like the game, but you're judging off something that they had to keep it the same, because a lot of games nowadays, people get upset when they change it, so they kept it the same. Then he goes back and says, the original game controlled better, has shorter levels, so less replaying, in parentheses he said, and no story, different games. Alright? And after that, and then I told him, look, they made a story to honor the cartoon. Plus, the punishment is like old school. Remember patterns and you win. You know, that's how it was back then. You used to remember the patterns, like they made you remember the patterns. It was always cheap deaths all the time. That you would go into a corner, all of a sudden an enemy pops out of nowhere, and it's not fair, you automatically die. But it's a memorization that you know that that person is going to be there next time, you're going to be able to dodge it. And that's how you win in those older games. This game that's remastered stayed true to that form. It may suck for some people don't like it, but that's what makes the game like challenging. At the end of it, when you win, you feel like you accomplished something because you actually remember the patterns. You worked your way through it. You know, that's the purpose of this game. That's what they're actually going for. And after I said that, like that, you know, it's all based, you know, the story is based off the cartoon, was to honor a cartoon. The reason why I said it like that is the story wasn't good. You know, the story was cheesy, it's boring at times, but it had some funny humor in it. It was supposed to make fun of the cartoon. It's supposed to make you get attached to the cartoon. So the people, the new generation that have not seen it or anything, you get used to the cartoon. So it wasn't a big thing. They had to do something to grab the attention of people of today. He messages me back, you sure enjoy hashtags. And yes, my review is designed to steer people away from the game, and my text explains why. Clearly he's being sarcastic when he says that. But I respond, nostalgia games is not just for old people. It's to let kids today see the hashtag games we experienced from the past. Said, and then I also respond, it's Twitter, LOL, you need hashtags. So he then messages me back. Hold on one second. Let me see what he says. It says, but we experienced DuckTales, not this lesser imitation. People should replay that version. This is a new game that's subpar. And then I said, what is wrong with trying to relate to a cartoony version for kids today? And I said, so you're saying leave every game that's made alone?
Kill confirmed.
Alright, and let's see. And after that he says, oh, not at all. I would rather introduce kids to good games, though. Wouldn't want them to think games are boring and lame. So he once again he poked fun of, you know, DuckTales, saying it's boring and lame by saying that. And then I said, the main point of this convo was that I feel that you never gave the game a chance from the start. Like you said, why make a new one? Question mark. He then says, I was hooked before I even picked up the controller, in parentheses. He said, that's a line from my piece of nostalgia. And he linked me to that article that I said he wrote about nostalgia and how he's smothered by nostalgia. He's trying to say that he was hooked. You know, in the beginning he was hooked, and then all of a sudden he's disappointed when he played the game. That's what he's insinuating. But then I didn't even hesitate. As soon as he sent me that message, I sent him another quote from that article that he had, which is a pretty serious quote. It says, in parentheses, I no longer embrace the hold recreated memories have over me. I shudder in disgust. And I said that is also a line. So pretty much what he's saying is, there's the memories, the nostalgia doesn't affect him anymore. And he actually shudders in disgust because of nostalgia. Okay? That does not sound like someone that is actually giving the game a chance. It's saying that he literally is disgusted by nostalgia. So I don't know how he's saying that he gave it a fair shot, because right off the bat you tell that he literally wrote, I shudder in disgust. So that's one thing. That's the last thing I wrote. And, you know, I didn't expect to, you know, comment back because we were going on for over a day and a half going back and forth. And then the next day, he did message me. So let me just read that real quick to you. The next thing, after I read that quote where he said, "I shudder in disgust," he says, "Exactly. I want to appreciate games on their own merits. Nostalgia alone is not good enough," which I partially agree. Like, nostalgia is not the only thing that should, you know, win over a game. But at the same time, you shouldn't judge it for that, you know, the way he said it. That's why the next thing I said was, no one says you need to reward nostalgia, but don't punish a game for that either. Okay, that's a huge thing that I said. I said, you're a great writer. Don't forget why you started reviewing games in the first place. Perhaps a nostalgic game, ? And I didn't receive another message for like about 8 hours later, and then finally it ended like this. Said, "Oh, I don't punish a game for being nostalgic. I grow tired of middling games that are propped up by nostalgia." And that's how the conversation ended right there. So that was the last message that he had. Pretty much the bottom line I got out of it, he kept referring to nostalgia. We both went back and forth on nostalgia, and I completely disagree with him. Like, nostalgia is not killing the industry. Like, and that's his whole point of it. And I think that's why he gave the game such a bad review. And it wasn't the game itself. As much as he's trying to say it is, it really isn't. It's the fact that it's nostalgia that he was upset with the company because he felt like they were trying to use nostalgia to sell the game instead of actually judging the game for the game itself. You know, and I also have to disagree with the whole nostalgia in games. You know, I have to disagree saying, like, why can't there be room for nostalgia? Why can't they make games, newer versions of games from the past? To me, like, I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to relate to kids today, to show them the games that we played years ago. You know what I mean? Like, what is wrong with showing DuckTales today? He said, well, they should go back in the past to play DuckTales. I know a lot of kids today that won't even take a look at DuckTales from the past. Why? Right off the bat, the graphics. Oh, the graphics suck. Oh, it looks pixelated. What is this? You know, kids today aren't going to play games like that because of that reason. So what did this company do? They tried to relate, you know, show a cartoon version of the game, HD graphics, updated version, but did not change the quality so they could still grab the gamers that like the original one. Because some people feel that was one of the best games on NES. And I'm not lying, that's literally, some people like that. They definitely know that's the best Disney game ever made on NES. A lot of people like the original DuckTales, you know? So they didn't want to lose that hardcore audience. And I personally feel like they did a great job. But yes, there was, you know, there's a lot of bugs in the game. There's errors, but there's bugs in a lot of games today too. You know, there's games that they gave a perfect 10, The Last of Us, and The Last of Us is a good game, but it does have lots of glitches and bugs in it too. But people oversee that. So why can't they oversee something like that in this game, you know? And like I said before, it wasn't the score alone. Like, yes, a 4.5 out of 10 is very low for that game, but at the same time, it's all about the explanation. His explanation was horrible for that game. Okay, the bullet points that he said that the level, it was too hard, it was too punishing. If you died, you had to start from the beginning. There's part with the story, like, it was dragged on cutscenes, which a lot of people did complain about. But at the same time, if you're a DuckTales fan, you enjoy the cutscenes. If not, there was a way to skip it. They didn't make it easy for you to skip it. I understand that part. Fine, that part is fine. But there's a lot of games today that do that same thing too. They have dragged on cutscenes. Okay, so that can't be a reason why you give a game 4.5. You know, and he says easy to read boss patterns. That, has he played the original? That's the way it is. You know, like, that's what you do. I don't see how you could complain about that and then turn around and say the game's bad because of it. That makes no sense the way he described it. And that's the only reason why I think that whole review was biased. And it even more evident now that we went back and forth with the tweets and stuff like that. So Tom McShay, I just gotta say that's kind of sketchy that you wrote an article about nostalgia and how bad nostalgia is, and it's killing the game industry pretty much. And then you try to say, well, you gave DuckTales a fair chance. It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like you seriously have an issue with nostalgia. Now, most people, nostalgia isn't a bad thing. It does bring you into the past of when games that you did enjoy, when you first played games, it brought you back to that time. And there's nothing wrong with nostalgia. But at the same time, I also do reviews too. I do reviews on a website as well. And I don't judge stuff on nostalgia. I might have two scores. I might have a score that I would love to give it, but at the same time, I'll give it a realistic score. But you would not see me give it a lower score just because of the fact that it's nostalgic and you think it's not fair because it's been made already. That makes no sense whatsoever. That's pretty much it. That's all I want to talk about. And I hope you guys enjoy the footage in the background of me dying. I can't believe I suck this bad at Call of Duty now. I mean, I always suck, but now I'm even worse at it. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, in the comments down below, let me know what you guys think about nostalgic games. Do you think that it's killing the industry? Do you think that they should stop making nostalgic games and just focus on new games? Or do you think there's actual room in the market for it? Do you think this is something that people will actually buy? Also, what would you have given, if you did play DuckTales Remastered, what was your score? Do you think it deserved the 4.5? Because I really don't think it deserved 4.5. Even Metacritic still has that as 6 something or 7 right now. But I don't know. You let me know in the comments down below. So this is Hector from Not Too Nerdy. I'm out. See you, YouTube.
Friendly care package inbound. Hunter-killer drone on standby. Losing B. Losing A. Enemy has A. Hunter-killer drone on standby.
Guy right above A with a fucking
Securing C.
back insertion.
Hunter-killer drone ready for deployment. Be advised, hostile UAV incoming. Securing Charlie. C locked down.
How did I? What the hell?
You lay down, you put your bloody when you're down there, you faggot.
Losing Bravo.
How did I even get killed? I'm getting ghost killed.
Losing Bravo.
I got killed before window.
Friendly UAV inbound. Losing C.
Let's see.
Mission clock about to expire. Step up. Losing B. Enemy has Bravo. Hellstorm missile inbound.
Down and clear.
Objective parameters obtained.